Hey guys, welcome back to Martin's Home and Garden, Houseplant of the Week. This week we're talking about the stunning Raven ZZ plant. These plants are from Eastern Africa. They live over in the grasslands and the forests of Eastern Africa. They have a really cool growth pattern. They start out as this beautiful lime green color and they slowly fade to what is actually a really deep purple, but it appears to be black to us, hence the name Raven ZZ plant. Their resilient qualities along with their really beautiful foliage makes them a favorite of houseplant lovers. They are virtually indestructible and can withstand inconsistent watering conditions and lower light conditions. So if this sounds like a plant you're interested in, we are going to walk you through how to care for them today. The first thing we're going to talk about is light. These plants are famous for surviving in lower light conditions. They are one of the few houseplants that is able to do that. They do, however, still need some sort of light source. A lot of people want to put them in a room that doesn't have any kind of window or any sort of natural lighting, and that is not going to make these guys happy. They do need some sort of light source to still go through the photosynthesis process to make energy to keep growing and thriving. If you don't have a light source in a room that you're wanting to put this plant in, you're going to need probably a grow light. Grow lights mimic the sun's natural rays. An LED bulb or a regular household bulb is not going to do the same thing as a grow light bulb would. So if you are wanting to keep this in a room with no light, a grow light is going to be best for these plants. They do prefer a bright indirect light, so if you do have more light in your home, these are still going to be a good option for you. No direct sun, but a bright indirect light is going to make them grow a lot faster. The foliage is going to be a lot larger, but they will still thrive, like I said, in the lower light conditions if that's what you have. The next thing we'll talk about is watering for these plants. They are also famous for being really resilient to drought conditions. So if you are someone like myself sometimes that kind of forgets to water some of your plants, this is going to be a really good option for you because they want to dry out all the way in the soil between waterings. They grow out of these potato-like roots that store water in them. So they have a really large water supply stored up, so that's why you don't have to water them as often. This does make them really sensitive to overwatering though, so it's best to let these dry out completely in the soil between waterings to avoid any sort of root rot situation. Another thing to consider with watering is fertilizing for these plants. When your plant is actively growing and putting out new leaves, you're going to want to fertilize this plant. I recommend this one in every single video we have, but it is a really good general fertilizer that you can use not just on this plant, but on all of your house plants. It's Jack's Classic All-Purpose 20-20-20 fertilizer. You're going to want to dilute this to half strength, and there are instructions on the back of how to do that. Another good option that you don't have to worry about mixing into your water is Osmocote. This one's the outdoor and indoor Osmocote fertilizer. It's a slow release, and it comes with a little scoop inside of it. And they give you instructions on how much to scoop into your plant depending on the pot size. And then this one, you can, once you put it in the plant soil, you don't have to worry about it again for 6 months, and it releases into the soil whenever you water it. So this is a really good kind of set it and forget it fertilizer. I use this one myself and I really enjoy it. It does a good job. And then the next thing we'll talk about is humidity, which, good news, they are really forgiving with humidity. Since they are from Eastern Africa, kind of the grassland area, they are used to those arid conditions. Therefore, they thrive really great in a home environment that doesn't usually have a ton of humidity. So these guys, you really don't have to worry about having any sort of humidity source for them. You don't really have to worry about humidifiers or misting them constantly. So they're a really good option if that sounds like your situation. The last thing we're going to talk about today is soil for these plants. Once again, they are not going to be picky about soil. Any sort of general house plant mix is going to be great for these. And you can add in sort of a soil amendment that helps to increase drainage, like perlite. This one is the Espoma organic perlite that we have here at Martin's. You can also use vermiculite or like peat moss just to increase that drainage. Like I said, they're sensitive to overwatering. So adding in that little bit of soil amendment is going to help just to increase drainage to prevent any sort of overwatering situation that can lead to root rot. It's also important to note that these plants will need a drainage hole in the pot that you plant them in that allows any excess water to have an escape, so it's not keeping your roots sitting in any water, which can again cause root rot and stuff like that, which will eventually kill your plant. We don't want that. We want our beautiful Ravensuse plants to thrive. But that is all that we have for today, guys. We will see you again next week. Bye.